You ever watch a movie, or maybe read an article, or you're sitting in some presentation, and this little voice pops in your head? It says something kind of dangerous, something you definitely wouldn't say out loud. Well, today, we're going to figure out what that voice is really trying to tell you.
Yep, there it is. I could have done it better. And look, this doesn't have to come from a place of arrogance, right? It's more like this quiet little spark of insight. You see the final product, and you just know. You can see the missed turns, the clearer path they could have taken, the bigger idea that just got lost in the shuffle.
So, what are we supposed to do with a feeling like that? Is it just jealousy? Some sour grapes we should just push down and ignore? Or could it be something more? I mean, what if that little nagging voice isn't some character flaw? What if it's actually a signal, a really important one, trying to tell you something about yourself?
Okay, let's explore a totally different way to look at this feeling. We're going to start with this first big idea here, an echo of brilliance. And this is all about redefining that little ache you feel. It's not a weakness. It's a powerful sign of your own potential, just waiting to get out. So we're calling this the echo of brilliance. And what that is, it's that feeling you get when you see this huge gap between the thing everyone's cheering for and what you know is actually possible. It's a sign that your own standards, your own vision, your own brilliance, it's in there. It's alive and well. It's just, waiting for a microphone.
So when you look at it this way, it totally reframes the whole thing. Think about it. What we've all been taught to call envy, that's not envy. That's the sound of your own potential knocking on the door. That feeling you thought was bitterness? Nope. That's actually a flash of real insight. And what just sounds like being critical? That's clarity. It's you seeing a better way forward.
Okay, but if you have all this insight, why does it feel like so much, mediocre work gets all the spotlight? That brings us to the external side of the problem. Let's call this section When Loudness Wins. Because, let's be honest, it feels like we're living in the age of marketable mediocrity.
First off, we're in a world where just being loud is often mistaken for being an expert. The algorithm, it loves noise. So the person who shouts the loudest, posts constantly, and is always promoting something, they can just completely drown out the person who's quietly doing skillful, amazing work, focused on their craft instead of just their brand. And it's not just about being loud either. It's also about how things look. A super slick presentation, a polished website, that perfect-looking social media feed, all of that can create this illusion of quality. And a lot of times, it'll totally outshine work that has real, genuine depth, but just doesn't have that shiny, marketable coating.
And kind of propping this all up is our obsession with hustle culture, right? This relentless, nonstop drive for more visibility. It creates a ton of noise. And in all that chaos, it just buries the more thoughtful, more harmonious things, the stuff that actually takes time and care and a little bit of quiet to get right. So, you mix all that together, and what do you get? You get this new formula for success. And it's a formula that doesn't always reward the best work. Instead, it rewards relentless self-promotion, being super savvy on social media, and creating work that's, just good enough to go viral, but not necessarily brilliant.
Okay, so that's the world we're living in. That's the external stuff. But now we've got to turn inward. This next part is called the spectator sport, and it's where we're going to dig into why so much incredible talent just stays on the sidelines. Why do so many people who have that echo of brilliance inside them just choose to stay quiet?
And here's the really deep truth about it. For a lot of us, the fear of putting our work out into the world and failing in front of everyone, it's just paralyzing. It feels so much safer to just sit in the stands and watch. And when that happens, talent becomes something you just have, not something you do. Creativity literally becomes a spectator sport.
And our culture is really good at reinforcing this fear. It gives us this whole list of false requirements, these unwritten rules. We get conditioned to believe that before we can even share an idea, we need to, get the right credentials first. Then we need to gain a bunch of followers. And then we need to wait for some imaginary gatekeeper to give us approval. The thing is, we're waiting for a permission slip that was never, ever required to begin with. All right. So after hearing all that, the big question is, what do we do about it? And that brings us to our final and honestly most important section. We're calling it a quiet rebellion. This is the part where we talk about how to fight back, because it is never too late to start writing a different story.
This right here, this is for anyone who's ever looked at something that's wildly popular and had that thought, I have something better inside me. If you've ever felt that little fire, that absolute certainty that you have more to offer, something deeper, I'm telling you, you're not alone. That feeling is so valid, it is real.
And please remember this. Creativity does not have an expiration date. Your best ideas, your most important work, it doesn't go bad. It doesn't spoil. There's no deadline. It's never too early to start, for sure, but it is absolutely 100% never too late to finally step up and be heard.
So, that echo of brilliance we talked about at the very beginning, it's real. You have something better inside of you. The only question left, really, is, are you gonna set it free?